how late we are. You can't do that. It's not allowed. Multiple can share. Yeah, you're...
Whoa.
Sorry. It autoplayed YouTube out of nowhere. All right, there we go. Okay. Chrome, go away. All right. We are finally up and running. There we go. Finally. Yo. All right. Now, henceforth.
Shall we know?
Okay, kids, let's go.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Do you still have the restream up for the chat?
I have the chat open.
Hello,
Yes.
What have we here?
You guys are so funny.
At least that part works.
Hello.
Holy shit. It ain't C3 penis face and R2 dickhead.
Hello there.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
May the force be with us. Fucking A.
Good day, Galaxy.
Squadron.
Rogue Squadron back.
At it again. Technical difficulties here at the beginning. Sorry about that. Restream. I don't know. I don't want to call you guys out, but something weird happened. And that's like the third time it's happened. We were in some weird multiverse void in the same room, but we were in different rooms, and then I tried to leave.
I was on a
and then
different
it was
timeline.
Like, the stream is complete. I was like, no, it hasn't started. What the hell? Okay. So here we are.
Same guy. Same letters.
At least we have the virtual backgrounds. I mean, we've been missing that. I know that's for sure. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's good to see it. Good to have it. So thanks everybody for tuning in. How you been, Mopar? How you
Living
been?
in a winter wonderland.
It's been wonderful. I haven't had as much time to play Skyrim as I normally like to do when it's snowing, but it's been glorious.
Yeah. It's hard, man. I want all this stuff before. You can't have what you want, man. I want all this
Before
stuff
what?
before Christmas, man.
Yeah, true.
At this point, it's I feel like, well, we had a mild winter so far. So I feel like we're just now getting into it. But it's a weird feeling because we're already beyond Christmas. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I can understand. Just kind of a pain.
But I'll take it. If it's going to be cold, I'd rather it snow and you get that muffled life. You know, you go outside and it's like a still mutedness. You know what
It
I'm talking
does. Yeah, it soaks up all the sound. It's pretty cool. And if you go out at night, it reflects all of like the city lights and everything. It's awesome. It's idyllic, man. It's great.
Yeah.
I dig it. I'm a fan.
Shinobs, I see Zale and Daco. Shinob's already saying, what are we going to hate today? Well, buckle in.
Today I hate Zale. Thanks for joining.
Today I hate Zale. For these reasons.
Never do I hate Zale. Just joking. No, we'll talk about Boba. I know that's what you're asking about. We'll get there eventually, you know.
Yeah.
Nice background, Mopar.
Yeah, it's Fennec.
She looks skeptical of Boba's decisions.
Of the show she signed up for.
She's looking at Dave Filoni. He's like, "Why are you making this?
Who okayed?
Who's watching this?"
No,
That's too harsh. How are we going to start like that?
Hey. We'll talk more in depth a little later, but
We'll get there, yeah. I was sick all weekend, which was a huge bummer. I guess at least it was brief. That's why I'm at home today. You know, we're not doing the usual studio setup. That was one thing that led to the goddamn technical difficulties. I decided to work from home just because I was like still getting over it. Woke up a little late and everything. Not the vid. We're safe from the vid at least.
oh, is that right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I've had it at some point, but every time I've tested negative. So who knows?
Yeah.
We'll never know. I've avoided. Do you know anyone that's gone like totally clean through the whole pandemic? Just like never phased.
I was sick really, really early on. I got really sick like the month that COVID became a thing, like March of 2020.
Yeah.
So like people were like COVID had just become a name on the news, and they're like, "Oh my God, 4 people in the United States!" And like that week, I got really sick.
Yeah.
So I was like, Did we just not know about it and I got it early on, or I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But long story
Possibly.
short, I'm still here. I don't know.
Dude, we're still here. We're still casting.
Yep. Zale's efforts to take me out have failed.
You just got poisoned, dude. Zale just poisoned you. That's all it was.
So, yeah. We're I mean, just update. We're powering through Succession. It's still a great thing.
Beautiful.
And when you're mirroring that with Boba Fett, they're complete opposites in just tone and vibe and what's the pacing?
Everything. Yeah.
Everything. They're complete opposites. So that might be a big reason why I feel certain ways, because I see so much on the screen with one, and so much is happening, and there's so many story threads and character lines and who knows what, and then I go to Boba Fett and it's the complete opposite. So, which, you know, I don't know. I want more out of it. I'm not just gonna shit on it, but I do. I enjoyed the newest episode, but I still, like, I think I texted you. I was like, why do I still feel like I'm still waiting for something to happen?
Yes.
Like we're like 2 episodes away from the end of this shit, and
Yeah.
I still feel like, when is this gonna start? I still feel like I still feel I hate having to say that, and there has been some fun stuff along the way.
Yeah.
I've wanted more, and like I said, maybe Succession is just dragging me towards that drama in every corner and all the characters, and Boba Fett's a very simple, straightforward show so far. There's not a lot of character connections and not a lot of tension and not a lot of storylines. Or don't wave your head like that. Don't compare the two, Succession and this. But
well, you said character. No, I'm not comparing the two. They're totally different. I wouldn't even try. But you said, well, sorry, I was just nodding my head at, you said character connections. I feel like there's been a good amount of those.
Stop it. No.
I won't stop it.
No,
Get
there
help.
are more character connections in one episode of Succession.
What do you
and
mean
more
by
tensions.
connections? What do you mean by connections?
What I mean is, for just, you guys don't need to know anything about Succession, but, you know, look at the brothers and sister.
So you're saying like relationship between characters?
Every single one of them has
Okay.
different tension. Every one of them has a different issue and is going for different goals and has a different relationship with their father. You look at Boba Fett and he's like,
was no father.
he has like the same issue with the Spice Runner guys and possibly the Hutts, but we don't really know yet. And
Shinobi was right.
Fennec, I don't know. It's more questions of
Yeah.
where are we going with this? And
I got you.
I've spent probably 3.5 hours watching this, and I still have I have no idea what we're doing yet.
When you said connections, I thought you meant like introducing characters or like looping characters.
Oh,
in.
we could say that too.
I was going to say that they've been decent at that, you know. So, but I see what you mean about character relationships. The unfortunate thing is, I think the point of this most recent episode was to give us a bit of that between Fennec and Boba, and I feel like it did an okay job. I think my beef with it and the problem, I think the series is not doomed to fail. I don't think that, but it has always been set up with the problem of like, we're getting backstory of things that we either kind of already know or don't necessarily need to know to move forward.
Yeah, you
So
know,
that's been like the back and forth with all of the flashbacks versus the present day stuff. Is like the Tusken stuff was cool because that was all brand new and I didn't really expect that at all from Boba
Sure.
Fett. The stuff of them going with Fennec and like getting the Slave One out of Jabba's palace is like kind of fun, but I would rather have new stuff moving forward than going back and recapping that. Like Fennec showing up in Mando and just saying, "This man rescued me out of the Dune Sea, and now I respect him, and I'm his number 2." That was all I needed to know that Fennec and Boba were like cool. Like I didn't really need all of the extra stuff. Like for a bounty hunter, like that one line is like, "We're good, man. Let's go ahead."
Yeah, it's you know how I watched this most recent episode and I felt like this should have been the first episode. Like walking through finding Fennec, like the back to tank stuff and the flashbacks are nice, but it doesn't. Like you said, we're still kind of trying to answer questions that haven't even been brought up yet. I guess we're still answering. Oh, he made it out of the Sarlacc, and this is how, and this is how I don't know, blossom into a new character beyond being just a bounty hunter. This is how he made do with no armor. This is how, and it's like, okay. That's all great, but where are we going with this? And I keep coming back to that. Like, what's it all for? We've had 4 episodes to say that, hey, there are larger gangs more or less out there, whether you want to talk about the biker gang that just blew up.
Yeah.
The Huts, or what's the other, the Spice Run, the Spice.
Oh, the Pikes.
Pikes. Thank you. So like there are characters to set up tension. I just haven't even really felt that tension yet. And nothing's gotten personal. That might be the biggest thing. Like,
well, you don't think him wiping out the whole squad, the whole biker gang, was personal? That was the most personal thing.
That took 3.5 episodes, and it was done like that.
I don't know. Once you get the gunship, it's efficient as fuck, I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
I thought that was brutal as hell.
Oh,
like he lit up an entire dozen of them on their bikes from his gunship.
Yeah,
I thought that was badass.
Rightfully so. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that felt good.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's always nice to see Slave One or whatever they're gonna make up the new name for it. It's always nice to see that in action. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of that in Star Wars history. So
it's not a new name. That's just the type of ship it is.
What?
The Fire Spray?
They also are renaming the ship.
What do you mean?
That's.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Well, Mopar's on repeat from the last episode. Well, if they gave me anything new, you know,
I'm gonna put you on shuffle. I'm gonna put you on shuffle.
Hey, you know, I wish. See, I hope you guys really believe that I want to like this show. Give me a reason to like this show. I want it to be dramatic. I want it to be like, oh shit. It hasn't been that for me. It hasn't. And I feel like I have to dig out the good stuff from it, and I don't feel like I have to do that with a lot of other shows. They give me the good stuff throughout. I don't know. I don't want to have to try to like this just because it's Star Wars, just because we have to be quirky because it's Star Wars. We have to be weird.
See, I feel you on what you just said, is that trying to force yourself to be into it. I understand that because I felt that kind of way about Star Wars over the past 6 months, 9 months. Like, I feel like I have a responsibility to sit down and watch a Star Wars movie, even though I'm not really into it right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I do kind of feel what you're going for here. Again, I think it's just a case of that it will feel different once you know the story. Once the story is complete, you're going to have a different take on this.
Yeah, but how I don't. But you know how I don't feel like every other series that I've watched in the past 2 years. Every other series I've watched, I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I have to wait to the last episode to feel satisfied. I don't feel like halfway through, I'm unsatisfied with.
Maybe you have higher expectations of Star Wars.
Or maybe they're just shittier.
I'm just saying maybe you have higher expectations because it's like your number one franchise.
I mean, you're not
Which
wrong.
I get, because I guess, I mean, I'm viewing, once you get through the beauty of Endgame, we'll go back to Marvel like we always do. Like, I won't lie that some of the newer movies have not felt like as gut-punching, as some of the stuff in Marvel phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. But once you come off the high of Endgame, you kind of have to, like I said last week, you kind of have to accept that it's going to be like that for a little bit. Like, they have to have that slow ramp-up time again to the next, giant reveal, whether it's X-Men or Fantastic Four or whatever. And then you get into that super, super hype zone again. So, Eternals was fun. Scarlet or Black Widow was fun. But it's no Civil War or Infinity War or anything like that,
Yeah, it's one of it's like I watch shows to... I mean, be entertained on the surface, but they invoke emotion. Like, you want to feel sad for a character or happy for a character or some satisfaction or tension or something. And I mean, I've been, I guess, happy random things have happened. I don't know. I just...
Well, here, let's do this as an exercise. Can you... Because I remember you weren't 1,000% on board with Mando Season 2 as we were going through that. I guess I kind of feel like that was giving us the same vibes. It was like, this is cool. I'm a little uneasy about it because of X, Y, and Z. But by the time we get through the whole storyline, it's all good. The finale, the 2 episodes were great. So looking back on that, does that make any sense? Do you feel the same kind of way? Like you can give it a little more time?
It is the same feeling.
Yeah.
I mean,
but was it about Mando that kept you engaged? Is it just because it was brand new? Was it the performances? Was it the story? Was it the side quests? Was it the gathering your party?
You know what it was? It was Grogu. I'm gonna put it simply. I wanted to see what happened to Grogu.
I think that did kind of help unify all the different threads. It was some innocent. I don't want to say it was a MacGuffin, but it was like an interesting plot device that tied all of the various threads together.
I mean, it like
you can go on a bunch of side quests, but you always come back to Grogu.
Yeah, that's what mattered. That's what was going to change everything.
So Boba needs his own little Grogu.
What here is going to change anything? We don't know. We don't know what's even changing yet. We don't even know what he's trying to change per se.
Sure, yeah, we do. Don't do that. That's too rude.
Well, he throws out, honor and quotes like that, but nothing's come of it yet.
Man, he spent almost the whole last episode explaining to Fennec that people like us are too smart and too skilled to work for fucking morons that hire us for stupid jobs. Like, we need to change the system. Like Daenerys style, like break the wheel.
Right.
That's what I mean. That's his whole thing.
Right. So he stole his ship back, and now we're still here.
But come on, man. He's been building that. You can tell he's been building towards that over the first 4 episodes. He just finally stated it to Fennec in this one, what he was working towards.
This episode 4 felt like what should have happened in the first episode.
Yeah, I mean,
he should have had that council. He should have had that meeting with the council, which was in the goddamn trailer. They set it up in the trailer, like that meeting with those crime lords was the very first thing that happened. Not 4 episodes in, when we're 60% through this thing already.
Yeah, I mean, we could argue episode order and flow, I guess. I won't deny that. It has not felt like a smooth ride. I'll definitely say that. But I think it's unfair to say that, we don't know what Boba's aim is or what he's working for, when it has been, he stated in episode 4, but they've been working towards that. Like with the whole Tusken backstory and the bounty hunter stuff, and we've been getting there.
Yeah. You know what's weird is I was watching, I think it was a Star Wars Explained video, kind of a breakdown, and he was very, very happy and very gung-ho, and I was like, I kind of want to try to absorb some of this, and I didn't agree with pretty much anything he said, but the one thing that he was like, there's a lot of criticism of, Boba Fett feeling soft right now, and how other fans say that that's not, Boba Fett's character. Mm-hmm. And I really don't have an issue with that, because I do like the Boba Fett from the Clone Wars series. He was just a broken kid. His dad was killed, and he had nowhere to be, no place to be, and he had to find his way in the galaxy. And it was like this. I get that, it's not that I don't see how he got from that kid to where he is now. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I don't know. It does feel like my issues are more directorial, pacing, like the story threads between the episodes. Mm-hmm. I don't feel a connection. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I understand where you're coming from, because I feel that at times, especially with episode 3 of the series.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to push back a little bit. And Shinobi, I know what you mean about expectations going in and have that kind of frame your output as you watch something. And I'm trying to temper that as much as I can. But at the same time, there's been plenty of times where I go in with high expectations and they get met or exceeded. Yeah. Whether that's Star Wars or Marvel or Game of Thrones or what have you, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to temper that, but at the same time, I feel like it's warranted for us to get hyped. I mean, it's almost Star Wars' fault for not giving us much of anything, and we're all kind of leaning all of our expectations on Boba Fett. It's the only live action show we've had in a year. So yeah, I'm trying to walk the fence, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. I know it sounds like I had high expectations. I had no idea. I just assumed he was gonna survive the Sarlacc pit, and then they were going to go from there. In my own head, I didn't have like a planned, this is where he should go, this is what he should do. You know, maybe on the show we, like, for one episode, we're like, hey, what could happen? I don't fucking know. Mm-hmm. I feel like I went into this kind of a blank slate.
Yeah, I think I kind of did. I actually forgot to mention last week when you were asking, like, what were you expecting versus what's panned out. I expected a lot more Mandalorian stuff.
Mandalorian, clone.
Until we got the trailers and stuff. Like, I was expecting him to pursue... the scene where he meets Din, finally gets to talk to him, and he pulls out his whole, like, chain code of Jango Fett and his clan and backstory and whatnot. Like... I was expecting that to kind of be a jumping off point. I didn't realize we were going this deep with the Tuskens and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but I didn't expect us to be on Tatooine this whole time.
That's another valid point. I mean, you asked me about expectations going in before I even watched the first episode. I thought, I don't know, rub shoulders with some other bounty hunters and, like, be at a disagreement of how they should handle things going forward. Maybe that's my expectation. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I have no idea. I still have no idea. I don't know where we're going with this. I'm gonna sit here and watch it because it's Star Wars. So,
yeah. What do you think about the little Mando theme at the end of the last episode? He's gonna hook him up with some help.
That's what they're trying to do. They got to save the show, so they got to bring Mando in.
Well, no, this was all done long before they had any reactions from fans or anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it felt like. The overlap was, a nice touch.
Yeah.
The Mando theme, and then we also get a Crimson Dawn theme at the very end too. So, the seeds are planted randomly, I guess, 60% of the way through.
Yeah. Fuck, what was I just going to say? Oh, I actually am going to go against my former self because I've often been a complainer about, like, TV shows where every episode ends in a cliffhanger bomb drop.
Yeah.
That kind of gets overdone. I think Game of Thrones was really guilty of that, especially at the last 2 or 3 seasons. So I've shit on that in the past, but I will say that until this little Mando theme and the music at the end of episode 4, I feel like we haven't really got much of that in Boba. And I feel like just one big drop or big reveal or foreshadowing or something would help kind of keep you in. And I guess I know it's only 7 episodes, but I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm missing. We mentioned, like, the first episode of Mando ends with the Baby Yoda reveal.
Yeah,
which was
it's huge.
So out of nowhere. It was huge.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm invested now no matter what you do, really, because I want to see this little baby Yoda thing.
And that's what I mean by pacing. Like, the overlying story is set. He's trying to change.
Yeah.
Change himself, change what's happening on Tatooine. Yes, okay. But, like, individual episodes, regardless, the pacing has to be, we're here, we have a little issue, we overcome the issue, and now we're here. That's what we're doing on a very basic scale. Mm-hmm. But, like, stringing us along with the overlying, it's the baby Yoda, it's the Grogu effect.
Yeah.
Like, Mando's doing all these side missions, but we're slowly learning more, and he's stringing along. Oh, I've heard about Ahsoka. Let's go find Ahsoka. Oh, she pointed us here. Let's go here. And then it's like it all comes together, which, I'm assuming will eventually happen in this.
Even though that's something that we complain about a little bit with Mando, is the whole video game setup.
Yeah, it's a very weird pacing.
Yeah.
Simply put, storyline pacing, and I see the vision from day one of he wants to make a change. Not much has changed. Maybe him internally, and he's been in the back to tank, so physically he's feeling better.
It's interesting that he's done. I found that interesting. Like, he had to go through X number of, like, treatments, and now he's all good to go.
Yeah.
So, no more surprise attacks while he's bathing. At least. You're reading Shinobi's comment right now, I could tell.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying it's easy to find things to hate and nitpick. Is that my fault, or is that Star Wars' fault? Is it just as easy to hate and nitpick at Endgame? Is it just as easy to hate and nitpick to Mando? I think this is giving me more reasons. Well, it's not even like more reasons to hate. I'm just saying it hasn't given me much. So so it's like I have to fill in the voids because they're not stringing me along. I feel.
Yeah. Shinobi says if it doesn't completely break continuity, why does that matter that much to the point of getting angry? And it's not even that so much for me. I think over the past couple of years, as I've consumed more content and gotten into franchises, I think the continuity and the Easter egg thing is interesting to me, but not nearly as much as the storyline.
Yeah.
You know, like we started the podcast right before Force Awakens came out, and back then we were like, "Oh, Legends is gone. What a fucking disgrace, Disney!" Like all these, Old Republic and these old storylines, New Jedi Order, whatever. Nowadays, 8 years later, that matters far less to me than I think like the story. Like I would be more happy if the story and the characters were engaging me the way I expected. Again, there's the expectations thing. Than if they kind of like fucked around with the story or changed continuity and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, Shinobi, I'm not trying to be a shitter. I'm trying to keep a foot in both camps, man. I'm trying to play Switzerland right now.
Walk that line. No, and believe me, I get it that if you go in expecting to hate something, you will find the reason to hate it. I feel like I haven't done that. I've tried to. I've given it its fair. I mean, I've watched it all. I've even rewatched a couple of the episodes, and sure, I've noticed a couple more things. You know what happened here? I'll get it in my podcast points.
Oh yeah, I'm getting my notes out.
So
man.
I was watching some recaps because I do feel like a shitter. I feel like I'm just dogging on something that I want.
At least you're self-aware. That's the first step.
Well, right. And, again, I'm not trying to shit on it. I give me reasons to like it. So I went to, YouTube, and I wanted to hear other people chat about it. And what came up was a breakdown of Easter eggs for the episode 3.
Yeah.
And it said 83 Easter eggs that you've missed in the third episode of Book of Boba. And mentally I thought, 80 fucking 3? I said, how long is this episode? I looked it up. It's 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Subtract the credits. It's exactly 34 minutes. So what we're getting to is you have 83 Easter eggs in 34 minutes. That's an Easter egg every 24 seconds.
I don't think that's a fair analysis.
Well, I know some of them are stretched pretty thin, like they're just a word on a wall or something like that. But a lot of them were extremely valid.
You should total up all of the episodes and all the Easter eggs from that particular YouTuber, and then do an average Easter egg per minute.
and it does say something that the attention to detail is. Nothing's even close to it. Even Marvel, like every single corner of Star Wars, it has a connection and a backstory. That's what we love about Star Wars.
Yeah.
So the fact that there are 83 Easter eggs in a 34-minute thing doesn't surprise me. But what does surprise me is all of the connections that the guy made were like low-key plot connections, and it's like I don't want to have to do 2 hours of research on a 34-minute episode to understand what the fuck's going on.
Like what? What's a plot Easter egg? What do you mean?
Like there was Crimson Dawn logos and things intertwined. Some of the Orbesh would mean something, which would connect this group of bikers to someone else who might be in deal with the Pikes, or this, and you're like.
Yeah, that doesn't detract from the story, right? That's just the extra.
Yeah, but this is all information that would be
the
nice
icing.
To know. This is all information that would be nice to know. This are the small strings that I feel like, so that biker gang might have been loosely tied to the.
I disagree. I disagree.
You don't want more information to understand what's going on?
No. I think, hear me out. I think for hyper fans like us, Easter eggs are there for that exact reason. So we can go on YouTube and be somebody translated the Orabesh, and then we can get nerdy about like what the fucking criminal syndicate is. That's awesome. But if you strip it down to the story thing, all you really need to know for the story is that there's a syndicate that is fucking over the natives of Tatooine. Boba's angry, he's trying to fix it, and then there's a biker gang getting in the mix. That's all you really need to know for the general plot.
But what you just said took 4 episodes. It took 3 hours What you just said in less than 20 seconds just explained all of what we watched for 3 hours. That's my issue.
Hey, man, I put my application in. You tell Filoni to call me back, man.
Yeah.
No,
so let's get to the fun stuff. I mean, we get to see Slave One. It's badass as ever. We do get to see inside Jabba's palace, which is a lot bigger and a lot more elaborate than I ever thought.
And one of the cool Easter eggs that I did notice is that version of Jabba's palace is modeled after the Battlefront 2 map, which is fucking sweet.
Oh, interesting. Nice.
Yeah. Because I don't know, which I think originally probably comes from one of those like locations books from back in the day, where they like did the whole cross section and like they built out the whole palace. But yeah, they mentioned that it was pulled from like the Battlefront 2 design, which is cool.
Nice. The little sneaker droid that she had, it felt very Episode 1 Maul. That's where I pulled it from.
Yep.
The YouTube video I watched referenced some other random stuff, and I was like, that's not where my mind went. I went immediately Maul on Tatooine.
Oh yeah, it's just like a smaller version of Darth Maul's infiltrated probe droid.
Oh, he said the full probe droid from Episode 5, and I was like, that's what you thought of immediately?
Well, I think it had a little bit of the sound effect from the probe droid on Episode 5.
They were playing.
I heard that.
Especially in the 4th episode, they were playing a lot with sound effects. Because the other one was when Fennec was cutting through the grate outside to get in. Was it into Jabba's palace? Yeah, I think. The sound was the same sound that you heard after Anakin beheaded Dooku. It was a random sound that I knew I had heard, and I was
That's
like,
a deep
fuck.
cut.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, where is this from? And I had to watch a YouTube video again. I had to watch a YouTube video to figure it out. So, but yeah, like in the space and time, I was like, God, what is that? I thought it was something with Vader where he got his head cut off. Or
I'll have to go back and I didn't catch that at all. I'll have to go back and check.
It's so when you hear when Anakin cuts Dooku's head off, there's like an echo of sound. It's a weird sound.
Okay. I'll make a mental note.
Yeah, if you go back and watch it. But yeah, what did you think about like the Sarlacc stuff?
That was interesting. The fact that he had the balls to go back in without any armor on, I thought was interesting. It goes back to my larger issue with the Episode 4 is that I felt like where we found the Boba Fennec partnership in Mando was enough of a jumping off point. I didn't think that the going back was necessary. Again, it was fun seeing him explode the Sarlacc with a seismic charge. Now the Sarlacc pit is officially dead. Mm-hmm. That's badass. Seeing him relearn how to fly Slave 1, getting, dusting off the cobwebs, that was fine. It was fun stuff. I'm a Boba Fett fan. I love the clones. I love Slave 1. I love the Mandos, blah, blah, blah. But again, I feel like with only 7 episodes to spare, I feel like there's opportunity for us to get into the present-day storyline more. And I feel like, aside from your larger complaints, I think that's the thing I keep coming back to with the show in general. So, but Sarlacc pit stuff.
What, that we're not even watching current day?
I think so. It's been very heavy on the flashback stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, instead of gathering our party, we're gathering our fucking equipment.
He is gathering his party, though. He's got Chrysanthemum now. He's got Fennec. He's got the Power Rangers. He's got to deal with all the mob bosses. He's got
the
mob Trejo and a Rancor.
The mob bosses aren't even doing anything, though. They're just not getting involved. That was their deal.
Well, they're probably going to double cross his bitch ass.
Yeah, I assume.
You know how they do.
Whoever has more money.
Yeah. The mayor has still disappeared, too.
That's what, that was kind of the one thread I was like, it could get pretty dicey because I feel like the mayor was playing both sides, whereas like the Pikes were for the Pikes. The biker gang was for the biker gang. I felt like the mayor was holding his own against Boba Fett, straight up to violent threats from Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. And, the mayor was like, you're not going to touch me. So I feel like maybe he's involved with Crimson Dawn, but... And I do think that was one of where the emblems, the Crimson Dawn emblem was in that scene somewhere. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's probably waiting to see when he's sure someone's going to win, he's going to side with them, and yeah, that's how it's going to wrap up.
Yeah, I hope Boba Fett dies after this.
What?
I hope Boba Fett dies at
Why?
the end. So something happens.
Fuck you. Now you've gone too far. You've gone down a path I can't follow.
Yeah.
You're breaking my heart.
Breaking my heart.
No, I if that that would be a tragic and well fit like finale to season 2.
Is what?
If he died.
Yeah.
It can't happen yet. That's too early. We got more.
What do you mean? They brought Han Solo back just to kill him?
Well, he had never died.
Well, yeah.
Don't get into semantics.
Don't get into actual Star Wars.
Don't get into the actual.
Don't use Star Wars as a reference for Star Wars.
Don't use logic against me.
Don't you do that. Oh, man.
It would be tragic if Boba did die after he passed on some sort of legacy or some greater teachings about not being an asshole bounty hunter. Yeah, save that for like season 2 finale. But
Yeah.
I need more of him first.
Yeah, man.
I need more.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the mod parlor, the robot tattoo parlor?
You know, of course I had my, like, what the fuck is this? But, you know, I got over that. It was the same thing as that, like, sand beast that they fought in the first episode. I'm okay with that quirky stuff. You know, throw it in there. I don't have to love it right away. It's fine. Again, it's one of those things that it can live in Star Wars. They can do whatever the fuck they want. It's a galaxy. I've made that point before. I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
That is one that's easy to hate. If you want to hate something, it is a quirky thing to hate, but, you know, it's whatever. Go ahead.
See, I love the idea of it. I thought the setting was cool. The music was very off-brand, I guess.
Well,
the music
why, right?
and the montage just made it feel like Fifth Element, Blade Runner sci-fi, and not Star Wars sci-fi, you know?
Is it? Maybe
that was it, and that was it. And then as soon as we were out of there, I was like, that's fine.
But that seems like a common theme, that we're pulling not only action scenes from other stuff. You know, we've got like the Back to the Future chase. We've got like Blade Runner. You know, Star Wars has spent many years creating its own thing, and it does feel to me like we're just it blatantly feels like we're pulling from other things to put it in. You know, my first thought when I saw the mod things was like, what? I initially thought like, oh, we're just doing Terminator stuff now. Even though I know that doesn't really make sense, I just thought this is like cheaply made robot people. I was like, my mind immediately went, oh, this is like 80s Terminator.
It did feel 80s.
Looks goofy.
And that might be like Robert Rodriguez's like style. Maybe that was kind of intentional.
Yeah.
I will say this is the first piece of Star Wars content. This is going to sound bad, but let me elaborate.
Okay.
This is the first piece of Star Wars content outside of the holiday special and the hotel thing that feels like very blatantly off-brand Star Wars. Like throughout The Mandalorian, even like the spider episode, which we thought was annoying because it was this weird side plot.
We're still in the universe.
It didn't really get anywhere. It still felt 100% like Star Wars.
I agree.
Yeah, and the Power Ranger gang and their bikes and this mod parlor thing are just the two just giant items that just totally felt out of universe for me.
Yeah. No, it's I see what you're saying. It does sound worse than what you mean, but
yeah. I mean, and there's small parts of this whole show, but like I've never seen Star Wars toss something in that just felt well, actually now that I say all that, I guess the compass dagger thing in Rise of Skywalker is another one that I would say was like.
But that's another thing we've had an issue with.
True.
You know, it just and that's a weird one because that's like a hardcore plot device, physical plot device.
Yeah. But even in Solo, even all the different threads that they took in Solo with like the heist vibes and everything, that all still felt totally on brand. So
yeah,
I don't know what it is. Zale said Boba can't die yet. He needs to meet Omega. Yeah, I guess that's one thing going in after seeing the Bad Batch that we were like, well, Omega definitely has to pop up, right? Like Omega could be the Baby Yoda thread going through Book of Boba Fett, you know?
Yeah.
She has to pop up before the finale.
How dumb does it feel that, for our criticism of Mando, I'm trying to think back into Mando times here.
I remember the first 2 episodes of season 2. You were pissed.
What happened in those episodes?
Anakin Pod Racer. You were just angry about fan service and Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Mopar's just angry.
Yeah.
Get that angry dad vibes now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's the balance there of fan service. That's all I'll say to that. I mean, I'll enjoy and sit and enjoy those. But yeah, where was I gonna go with this?
I don't know. Sorry.
What I was saying is with the gathering your party to venture forth with Mandos particularly.
Yeah.
At least it felt like we had something to look forward to. Like, who is he going to meet in this episode? We meet Cara Dune. We meet IG-11. We meet Ahsoka. We meet Luke. We meet the Mandos. You go down the line and you're like, dude, this connection, this part, this. And I feel like we've met some Hutts. The mayor's interesting, sure.
Mm-hmm.
The biker gangs, which he blew up. Power Rangers?
I hate them so much.
Yeah, you're right with it's just off-brand.
I feel
like
much.
I feel like the idea was there, like a gang of kids that was being disrespected on Tatooine.
I don't know if I brought this up after we talked about that episode on the podcast, but when he walked up to them at the beginning, I was waiting for some sort of connection for that to be like all of Anakin's old friends. I was waiting for that to pop up, and it was
Even
like all
Kitster
and all.
They'd all be like 90 years old at that point.
I know, but I was just like waiting for them to throw that in, to toss that in. His friends never went anywhere, and now they're just fucking mongrels on Mos Espa.
Another reason that it feels off-brand, and I don't remember if I brought this up, so yell at me if I have. We're on Tatooine where everything's trash. These kids can't even, quote, afford water. This is where we're going with this. Yet they're fully modded people with brand new bikes at a bar, and I just felt like
different.
So you're buying drinks, getting modded, and you have brand new fucking motorcycles per se, but you can't afford water? Which maybe be the issue with Tatooine, but it just felt like Tatooine is worn and torn, and for how much I hated it, we're using Anakin's pod racer to get around, which is 100 years old. Meanwhile, this poor, quote, bike group of kids, everything's new. They're wearing fresh threads. I mean, everything, it feels off-brand, even in the universe. Like, nothing on Tatooine's new. Everyone's scraping to get by. This dude is hustling water to get by.
Do you think it is poorly explained, but a difference, like a stark difference between Mos Eisley and Mos Espa?
I mean, maybe. I don't know enough between the two, like the differences between the two cities to be.
Because I remember we see Mos Eisley in Mando, and they give us all the little Easter eggs from A New Hope, but it's all just like run down. The canteen is empty and everything. Yeah. So maybe Mos Espa is like, and that's why Boba's not spending any time in Mos Eisley. He's trying to take over the gangs and everything in Mos Espa. Maybe that's where all the money is.
Well, and it's a valid point because they even mention it. The Mos Espa is split up into three like regions, and they're all controlled differently. So, yeah, I guess there's more hustle and bustle going on in Mos Espa, and assuming
they got a casino and shit.
That's true. No, you're correcting me there. I mean, there is a casino, there is some high class, there is money flowing, and assumingly probably because of the spice that's being run through there. So, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean, some of those things are like, there's a line where it's like not blatantly explained to you. It's just like, this is what the scenario is, and you're supposed to just kind of pick up the vibe based on like what you're seeing.
Yeah,
but it is stark, like you said, coming from how we see Mos Eisley in Mando and Mos Espa here. It's like it's so different.
Yeah,
it's like a different planet.
It just felt, even storyline wise, like these are supposed to be poor kids who can't afford water.
The water thing was weird. Yeah. I get that. And like the guy comes and complains to him, and then he goes and confronts them, and within like a couple sentences, he's made up his mind, and he knows that the guy's a slimo. He's like, you're charging too much for water, dude. And then also, like, wasn't there a scene in the train where like they just crack open one of the compartments and there's just water everywhere? Yeah, they're not really. Yeah, I mean that's such a nitpicky thing, but
yeah,
they're not making like the need for water is not as like prominent as it should be, I guess. I mean, Luke was he farmed moisture. That's how rare water is. They have to farm moisture out of the air.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're making a valid point where there's money on certain parts of Tatooine for certain reasons, and Luke was from the other side of Tatooine where it's poor rural Tatooine where there's nothing out there, so you have to farm your own water.
Yeah, and remember Cobb Vanth's whole place was like way out in the Dune Sea. It was like just a fucking couple shacks like out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah,
it's literally a wasteland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I keep talking. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. I feel bad because I know Shinobi runs for the hills when we disagree, but I really do want to like this show. I feel like I'm having trouble liking the show, which as a Star Wars fan shouldn't be a thing. Simply put, I shouldn't have to try to like this.
Hey man, that's all. Like I've said this once we became dads. We've become the very things we swore to destroy.
We're full curmudgeons now. It doesn't matter.
All the old fanboys in 1999. That's who we sound like now.
You're right. Party on.
I want more Star Wars. I want more Star Wars. I want more Star Wars. Hey, this shit. That's not right. You didn't do what I wanted.
But the other argument was we haven't gotten Star Wars in many years, and then we get this. So I don't think my expectations for Boba Fett as a story is the issue. I think my expectations for Star Wars as a global phenomenon is the issue. I want more better Star Wars. And the only thing we get is this maybe I would feel completely different if we had a kick-ass Star Wars film that just launched in December. And then this is trickling along the bottom, and like, we get some little extra Boba Fett stuff on the side. But because this is the only thing, I feel a certain way. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys.
I can understand that. I think this is impossible because time travel doesn't exist. I was going to say, if you were somehow able to watch this fresh for the first time 3 years from now, it would have a totally different effect on you, I think, than it does right now. So I know what you mean.
Maybe that's what I'll do, though. Because this is very forgettable so far. I hate saying that, guys. I really do hate saying that. Dude,
Mopa.
On the surface, let's talk about where we're at. We're in Jabba's palace. Classic. Guess what we have? Our fucking Rancor.
The episode 6 fan service is really getting to me, I will say.
And it's one of those things like, it has to make sense, because that's where we left off. Episode 6, and we roll into, hey, Boba Fett survives episode 6. So, and I even like beforehand, I remember talking like, what do we want to see in this, or what potentially? And I was like, maybe some huts and stuff, and we even get that. And I actually personally like the hut stuff. Yeah. I feel like those are the gangsters. Right. Those are the issue. I feel like the Pikes are doing their own thing, but they're more like scoundrels, and they're making big money and making some moves.
They're small fish compared to the Hutts.
I feel like the Hutts are we're going to murder your family for the better of my money.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about you. But I haven't really felt that yet. I mean, sure, Chrysanthemum was a thing.
Yeah.
But I want to see some brutality out of the Hutts. They obviously introduced some cool ones, like and they're bending their goddamn frame or whatever the hell is under the they need some beefy buttresses under that shit.
What is it? Yeah, why do they have just regular ass humans carrying their shit?
You know what's funny? It's not humans. It's an alien species. I think it's Weequay are carrying them, or the dog.
Oh no, you're right. I saw a couple humans though.
Oh, was there? Okay.
I think I saw a mix of both. Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Beefy buttresses?
Beefy buttresses, and they need more of them.
Yeah, man.
Small little details like that. Maybe my expectation was a quicker story.
This is one thing that you might be. I mentioned this last week, that you might be getting stark contrast with Succession right now, as far as a comparison goes. Is that Succession is a show that treats you like an intelligent viewer and makes you just catch up and figure shit out. And Star Wars, it's a kid's show. It's not going to do that. It's gonna hold your hand, and it's gonna move things a little slower than you might want as an adult, and you just kind of have to accept that.
Yeah. Well, Succession does so well with forcing scenes, which may not feel great on the surface. Like, they put people at odds in the same room and make them talk. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you feel the tension. They have to figure it out. And when they leave, is there still tension? Is there different tension? Do they figure it out? And they do that over and over with different people. And now they put them in a group and do it. And you're like, there's so much drama. I fucking love it. This feels like it's lacking in just that. Oh, Boba Fett has his own issues. And he's carrying them along with him and slowly turning that wheel of, I need a group. My group was the Sand People. They were killed off, but I learned from them what it takes to be like a tribe and what that means. Good learning lesson. But I feel like we could have got there quicker. You're right. It's the slow moving wheel. It's just maybe I'm on a different time. I need shit now, guys. Now I'm doing shit. So
I got no time for this hand holding.
Get to it. Chop chop.
Who's got hands? The devil.
The devil.
I'm
trying to say the other things that I like. Fennec has been good so far.
Yeah.
I've had really no issues with Fennec at all. And she's the one that keeps smacking Boba Fett over the head like, dude, start acting like a fucking adult. Stop it. This dude just threatened your life. You're just going to fucking slap him on an ass? On an ass. Slap him on the ass.
An ass. not his, not yours, not mine. An ass. A hut ass.
Also, how did Jabba fit in that throne?
I don't fucking know, dude. It just expands. It came with multiple sizes.
Yeah, multiple thrones.
No, I made that up. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I still hold true to the idea that Boba is slow playing this shit. I think he's letting people think he's making mistakes, and he's going to drop a bomb on like the last episode or second to last episode.
What is this, like a seismic charge?
Like a seismic charge. You see, he shot up like a proton torpedo as well when he was blowing up the biker gangs. That was pretty dope.
Oh, that rocket. Yeah. Well, that's he aimed for the leader right there with that.
The leader
of the.
Yeah, I still proclaim that he is he's slow playing. It's a mob strategy.
It's weird that Eve.
Oh yeah, it's weird. It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. I really did like the cinematography of the biker gang moving the whole attack scene. But it starts as like a little dot.
Yep.
Slave one, and then it
Beautiful.
just instead of it like moving on your screen, it just slowly gets bigger and bigger and more in the frame. You're like,
perfect.
Oh, that's great.
That was amazing.
I feel like personally, I haven't had a lot of those aha moments. In Book of Boba Fett, I haven't been like, dude, that looked beautiful. Like, regardless of what's going on or how I feel about the story, certain things can just look beautiful, and I feel like that was one of the first times I had thought that about this show.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know, I'm not an artist. I don't know how to fuck. It just that was one that caught my eye, and I was like, oh, this actually looks really, really cool. It's a good shot.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
Well, how did you feel about Slave One being in a dock that it basically didn't fit in? Did it grow or did the dock get smaller? I was really confused at how the fuck it got
a little
in
bit
there.
of both. Yeah, they've been really watering that ship. It grew in size.
It grew.
No, I think he was not supposed to start turning. He was just supposed to like levitate and just back the fuck up and get out of there. You know.
Yeah.
It's for being possibly my favorite ship in all of Star Wars. It really is functionally makes no goddamn sense.
Oh yeah, it is.
You have to get inside and like lay yourself backwards. How are you going to take off? You can't see anything. You're staring at the goddamn ceiling the whole time.
It must give him it gives you an advantage. You can look kind of below you and above you when you're flying forward. But how it lands on its back, then you're like laying into bed to take off. And you're like,
exactly.
the fuck is... Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think it's one of the most obscene ships that I love, but doesn't make sense. Yeah.
It is obscene. Slave One is obscene. Did they like change the name already? They decide what the name is.
They just what do they say? The fire spray is the model of the ship.
So they're just going to call it fire spray from now on.
Quite possibly, that's what I think Star Wars Explained said that they were officially renaming it, and quite possibly Boba Fett might just refer to it as the fire spray because there's probably not too many of them left. So
Yeah, that makes sense. It's fine. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, and honestly, fire spray is a badass name. I'm fucking fine with that too. So.
Oh yeah, beautiful. I realize. I think I said this in the group chat. I realized why the chase scene felt so goddamn slow.
Okay.
From last week.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but remember the shooting with that new giant LCD screen technology where they're on a set and they just have the screens around them. So like the background CGI is just projected. So it's not like they're in the city streets. And especially because this was filmed like during COVID and everything, they didn't have as many like live sets as they did for Mando and whatnot. So like they kind of have to, they only have like a couple feet to work with. They pretty much have to like have the speeder stationary and the background is like moving with them. So it feels like clunky, you know?
Absolutely.
It's like when people in sitcoms are like driving their car and they're just doing this and the background scenery is just going. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same red car that passes them every 20 seconds. Yeah.
Like the old cartoon backdrops where it's like the same frame, just kind of repeats, like the old Flintstone shit.
It actually, and I'm not even going to say it's the Book of Boba Fett's fault because I noticed that filming style that bothered me all the way back in episode 7 when Rey jumps on that popsicle.
Well, I don't think they had it back then.
But it's when
I think Mando is like the first thing ever that's ever used that.
But I don't know what it was, but it was the exact same feeling I had. Is when she jumps on that, you know what I'm talking about.
The popsicle.
Where she finally picks up, you know what I'm talking about.
When she's first introduced and she's on her little speeder bike thing.
Yeah, the big like box thing. When she first gets on it and takes off and it turns, I always thought that was the most awkward turn, and like the filming always felt really weird to me. And that entire chase scene in the third episode felt that like that in the entire time. I just felt like, God, we're just like flying around these faces that are supposed to be going fast, but no one's going anywhere. I just I
gotta go watch it again.
It was a weird feeling.
That was the one of the very few times I've watched something of Star Wars and just been like, I was just mad afterwards. I was just like, what the hell? I can't believe they did that to me. That's how I felt personally offended by that. I'm going to have to go watch it again. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel...
Boba Fett, guys.
How do you feel that there's not a large... Like, we always complain that there's not, like, a galaxy-ending issue. But I do feel like we've torn all that down so far that... Like, the biggest issue is, like, a local biker gang so far, and possibly some huts.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it is a little lackluster because of that? Or, I mean, of course, we'll see after the next 3 episodes. I'm sure shit'll blow up and some Mandos will show up and, it'll be fine. But it does feel like particularly small world to me so far.
I'm okay with that, yeah. I think that's one thing we've been asking for. So, like...
True.
One of the few things on your short list of reasons to like Boba Fett. That should be one of them.
But you have complained that we haven't left Tatooine, so.
Yeah, Tatooine is the issue. It's not the fact that we're on a small scale, like with a smaller group of characters and whatnot. I think that's okay. Yeah, I'm for it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was expecting him to dive more into like Mandalorian culture and less into the gang wars and whatnot. So that's the only problem for me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, we got 3 episodes left to figure it out.
I'm trying. I'm excited. I still am excited. I want to like it, guys. I'm just still sitting here waiting. That's all.
I have faith. I think they're gonna pull some crazy shit in the next 3 episodes as they ramp up.
They have.
You're gonna look on the previous couple with a different perspective, except for episode 3, which sucked.
Well, the issue, yeah.
I have faith.
You know what's going to happen
positive.
is
Mopar, don't complain. Don't do it.
But you know what this feels like is the last season of Clone Wars. You know what I don't watch is the very beginning of that season. I watched the last three episodes all the time because that's where the shit happens. That's the tension. That's the battle. That's the decision making. That's the betrayal. That's the backstabbing. That's the emotion. That's the Vader finding out that Ahsoka's still around and leaving it, and you're like, fuck. I don't personally feel like I'll ever get that close to that feeling with this show. Not that it won't be great. I'm just saying there's another level of Ahsoka, Vader, Anakin, Obi-Wan. There's that next level stuff that Star Wars has always leaned on, and
I think those characters are just on a different level though to start with.
You're right.
That's one thing our buddy Steve was saying when we were all hanging out earlier this month. It was like, I don't know if I really need to know more about Boba Fett.
I think
that's what a lot of people did say that before the show even came out. Like, maybe they would have been okay with him showing up in Mando, cool cameo, he's still alive, and then he's gone again. You know what I mean? He can still be more mysterious.
It is, after we see the rest of this, the question to ask is, could this have lived in a novel or a comic series? Because as it sits right now, I do feel like this could have lived in a comic series. I'm hoping we get to that point where it's like, it's valid. Like, this episode 5, 6, and 7 are just going to be like, oh, that's why they put it on screen.
Right.
But so far it's been like fun and quirky in spots. We see a Rancor, we see some Hutts, and you're like, oh, this is giving me good vibes. But I do feel like as it sits right now, it could have lived in a comic book. But again, I have heard nothing but like crazy shit is supposed to happen, especially in 5 and 6.
Okay.
So hopefully this week should be great.
Well, like I said, I'm optimistic that it will be done, and it will be done well. And we're going to look back with a different perspective, and we will be angry no more.
Well, every episode gives me a new opportunity to hate,
I mean, it gives us a new opportunity for content, that's for sure.
It's true.
So here we are. We actually, I'm totally cool with this. I don't think we've spent the entire episode reviewing an episode, if that makes sense. Like, you had a lot to say, Mopar. I'm glad to be here. Some weird form of therapy for you to let out all your hatred.
You have corrected the one small issue that which was why the Power Rangers all had brand new shit and they were all modded. Because in my mind, I thought Tatooine's just run down, worn. Right. Why do these poor kids who can't afford water have brand new shit everywhere?
Yeah,
and it makes sense. There's spice money floating around somewhere, and Mos Espa's.
I'm glad I fixed that one thing.
You got to start somewhere, All
right. Episode 5 will take it to a whole nother level.
I feel bad because I know Shinobi hates us now, but
I do feel bad.
I feel bad because if I really wanted to pick and shit on this show, I could be very, very bad with this. I feel that's the issue. I feel like I'm taking it easy on this show. I feel like I'm letting stuff pass and being
got
like
your kid gloves on.
Yeah, I do feel like I'm letting stuff pass because it's Star Wars. I'm trying to
giving it the benefit of the doubt whenever possible. Yeah,
exactly. But you rub me the wrong way so much, I'm gonna bite you. So
no one rub Mopar. Steer clear.
Yeah, steer clear. Anything else going on?
Honestly, I've been keeping tabs on that new Pokemon game.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to buy it until I watch some reviews, and it looks questionable. Yeah, I know there's like an art style they're going for that can come off very low res if you're not a big fan of it, and I've never been a big fan of it, so I'm a little skeptical. Also, you know how we are. We're old men. The 151, that's the original Pokemon. I'm not interested in anything after that. So this one, it kind of mixes, I think, every generation together. And I don't know if I'm into that. I'm just content with the originals. And it's probably going to be another 8 years before they make another, like, Kanto-only Pokemon game. And maybe I'll just wait for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can I go through the whole game and only catch original generation Pokemon? That's a question I would like to ask. Some YouTuber needs to answer that question for me before.
Can you mod this and make everybody? You know?
The only other giant news that I saw crop up the last week is in gaming, Xbox bought Activision.
Jesus.
$68 billion.
They'll get that back in 2 years, dude.
Dude, think back on... All right. I don't think I've given gaming enough credit as a mega industry. Yeah. Because think back to 2012, Disney buys Star Wars, all of Star Wars, for $4 billion.
And that's it.
And that's it. That's it. $68 billion for Activision.
Star Wars needs microtransactions.
Jesus. And to think there were games under the Star Wars umbrella, and it was still only $4 billion.
I saw a statistic, actually, when Google bought YouTube for some ungodly amount of money. It was like... I'm just going to throw it out. I have no idea. Like, let's call it like $140 million. So they bought it for in like 2006. They make that almost daily now.
Oh, yeah.
It was something ridiculous like that.
Yep. Yeah, man. So that was pretty huge. I'm still waiting impatiently for Overwatch 2. So I don't know if that's going to change much. I think it was already pretty close to being done. Mm-hmm. So that's the big one that I'm trying to keep tabs on with like Activision. I've never been big on a lot of the other Blizzard stuff. I haven't played Call of Duty in a while. So I'm not really... Activision's really not on my radar anyways, except for Overwatch. So we'll see. Maybe that means it'll come out better and sooner and not broken.
Activision wasn't the sole creator for CODs, was it? They were bouncing between two of them, right?
At some point, I think they bought it up. They own both developers that have been both making it for a while.
I forget what the other one was.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've
because one of them did like the modern stuff, and the other ones did the historical stuff. I thought, and they were bouncing back and forth like every other year they would make.
At some point, Activision owned both of them. So
now that I say that,
they just have all of Call of Duty. Think about how much Warzone brings in on fucking like skins and stuff. That's the weird part of gaming that blows my mind is like there's so much money in streamers who are just streaming, and because they make so much money from streaming, they buy a bunch of cosmetics, and that fuels the game. And like I feel like average players aren't spending that much in like microtransactions.
I don't personally get it. I'm too old. I'm beyond that threshold of understanding to spend that much money on. Like I have trouble buying the game. I'm not going to sit there and spend $10 a week on getting a blue set of boots in the fucking game. I don't give a shit.
Green boots now. You might talk me into it.
Yeah, $9.50 at the best. So.
Fuck. 25 or $2.50.
So
that's the only other crazy news I saw. I think I could be forgetting, but you get busy, you get kids, you can only focus on a number of things at one time. And I caught up on all of the Marvel content that's in the cinematic universe. Oh, actually, I lied. I learned that there's two things. There's two offshoot Marvel things on Hulu. I think they're both animated, and I haven't seen either of those. I don't think it has anything to do with like the continuity of the MCU, but they are actual like new Marvel shows on Hulu. So yeah, I might check those out.
Yeah, I know we talked about Succession, but now that we have HBO Max, all the DC stuff's on there. So I can go back and watch like Flashpoint Paradox, which is going to be fucking bananas again because I've only seen it once and I just was blown away.
Yep.
But yeah, all the DC movies that I don't have, all the animated series that I don't have, it's or Snyder Cut. Maybe I'll sit and watch that again.
Let me scan through my calendar because I've been saving shit. I always save stuff in the calendar so don't forget. So, like, for example, this week, Friday, Morbius comes out. That's the werewolf. I'm pretty sure.
I think that was delayed.
Mother effer. Well, it's in my calendar. I haven't updated in a while. Sorry. I'm going to have to change it. But it's in there for this Friday, and then the Pokemon game comes out this Friday as well.
Morbius has been delayed with release date moving to April 1st.
Elden Ring is late February. That's the next Dark Souls thing.
Oh, the other random things. Before
Wait, quickly, and then Batman, March 4th.
Yep.
That's coming up pretty quick.
That's very quick.
And Moon Knight. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Go ahead so you don't forget, and then we'll talk about Moon Knight.
Batman officially is going to be close to 3 hours long. I'm rock hard. Let's do this.
Let's go, man. Let's do it. Man. I almost don't want to watch any content about. Now that I've seen the 3 trailers, I almost don't want to see anything else. No behind the scenes or anything. I just want to kind of go in. Yeah, on the Batman. And go in like as cold as I can.
I'm excited, man. I really am. It feels grassroots, younger Batman, maybe still unsure of himself, but crossing that line that hasn't been drawn yet as far as violence, because he's still young, so he's gonna kill somebody or beat someone close to death and be like, that's not how I need to be. I can't be a hero. But maybe we're creating a new I'm so fucking hyped.
They could go so many ways with it.
Maybe he survives the Sarlacc pit and spends random.
Yeah, he reorganizes all the gangs in Gotham. That could be one way to do it. They do have gangs in Gotham, so. Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's gonna roll up on us. It's gonna be all of a sudden.
No,
Boba Fett's gonna end, and we're gonna be like Batman tomorrow.
Batman, right?
Let's go.
No, you're right.
Awesome. All right.
No, what'd you say about the last thing?
Oh yeah, Moon Knight. I don't know anything about this character.
Yeah, me neither.
I know nothing. The trailer came up. I thought it was a movie at first. It's actually a series on Disney Plus. It comes out in March. Oscar Isaac is the lead, and I started asking some of the guys in the chat, fill me in. Where can I get some more info? Because I don't know anything. I've never even heard of him before. And all of a sudden, there's a whole Marvel show about Moon Knight. I saw Egyptian shit in the trailer.
Whoa!
It looked pretty dope. So,
do you want a one-sentence synopsis of this from Google?
Yes.
Stephen Grant and mercenary Mark Spector investigate the mysteries of the Egyptian gods from inside the same body.
Let's go, dude.
So it's going to be a multiple personality guy that's,
Fuck yeah.
Let's
I'm balls deep already, dude. Let's go. That's I'm gonna call it right now, like I often do. I get overhyped about certain things. This is my new favorite Marvel character. Let's go.
It's because it's different. It's different, and I said the word Egyptian. That's
all you really need to tell me. Eternals landed in fucking the Sumerian Empire. I was like,
tell you what,
let's go.
I tell you fucking what. One of the biggest missed opportunities in all of Star Wars is putting a goddamn pyramid on Tatooine.
Ooh, that's too close to home.
Think about that, though. Let it sink in.
I'll think about it. I'll come back with you with an answer for you next week.
Dude, think about it. What if it's buried under sand and they start digging and they're like... Dude.
What if Tatooine is Atlantis? Oh, shit.
Oh, side random note that I just remembered. So 2 suns, 3 moons? 3 moons on Tatooine?
Oh, I didn't catch that. I'm a bad fan.
Yeah, so it transitions from day to night when Boba Fett's sitting there with his Wampa or his Bantha.
His Wampa.
Yeah, whatever he's hugging nowadays.
Some giant beast.
But it transitions, so it looks up to the sky and it goes suns, and then it flashes dark, and there's 3 moons.
Oh shit! I never noticed that.
Yeah, and then he finds Fennec. It's that night.
This is why I need to watch every episode twice before I talk about it. Truly. All right, 2 days, episode 5. I have hope. We're doing it. And then, yeah, Moon Knight and Batman in March. It's a good time to be alive. Let's positive vibes here. Let's go. We're pushing towards episode 300. We got so much good. I'm carrying the positive weight for the team right now. Don't
the actress?
Don't do it.
The actress that plays Fennec Shand also was in 1994 Street Fighter. Huh.
I did not know that.
We'll catch up with that next episode.
Let's catch up. Pyramids.
Pyramids.
I'm so glad I didn't forget to record. RSP 288. Desktop. Save. Quit. Oh, yeah, guys. Thanks for being there. Shinobi, I know you're probably not listening anymore, but I'm sorry that we hate the show. I don't hate it.
I don't either.
I'm sorry that we're acting like we hate it. I miss you.
I feel like I would
miss your musk.
I feel like I would be lying to myself if I sat here and just said good things. And that's not what I'm about. So
I agree with that. I will echo that sentiment.
But we love you.
I must not tell lies.
That's what Boba Fett has tattooed on his gonk.
Bantha.
Gonk badonk. Have you had an ass transplant yet? We get the new upgraded padding from the gonk. Gonk donk.
Oh, yeah.
Boobless.
Right. Well, that's it. I'm going to turn the stream off now. Thanks. Glad we could keep you entertained on your drive, Daco. Kigo, nice to see you. We'll catch y'all later.
On the flip side.
Oh, man. Shinobi's pissed.
I really feel bad. I get his sentiment. You don't want to just be a negative person. And I feel like